straightforward. So you're going to get open a Word document here, right? And we're going to first start in the header. We're going to start with the running head. And we'll get back to this once we come up with the title. But the running head's going to be the first few words of your full title. And it's going to be in the header. So for now, I'm just going to leave running head like that. Make sure head is, the H in head is lowercase in the header. Now let's think of a title for our paper. So we're looking at variables that are related to COVID behaviors or conforming to COVID rules or COVID protocol. So there's no one, there's no right answer or wrong answer. You're gonna have to come up with your own title. But I can come up with a title that's kind of behavioral. I spell that right. Correlates of COVID-19 compliance. Now, obviously, your title is going to be a little different than that. That's my title. Behavioral correlates of COVID. Move it down to the kind of towards the center, above the center, though. So make sure it's above the center. That's fine. Move it up like that. Then you're going to write your name. So this is me. I usually write my title at the end, right? So I usually write my degree. That's generally how I publish it. And then institutional affiliation. So, institutional affiliation, Borough of Manhattan, Community College. If you would like, you can put City University of New York afterwards. You don't need to write my name. You're going to write your name. You're going to write your university, right? You don't need to write the date. You don't need to write the class, right? So it was just basically the title, and I'm calling this behavioral correlates of COVID-19 compliance. Obviously, you're going to have a different title than that. That's just my title that I'm making up on the spot here. You can write, behaviors or health-related behaviors that are associated with COVID compliance or COVID or agreeing to COVID policy. It has to be in general what the paper is about. And the paper is about behaviors, personality traits that are associated with following COVID rules. Vaccination, social distancing, etc. So any kind of variation on that, it's got to be somewhat related to the paper. I'm not super particular about the title as long as it's sort of about the paper and it's different than what I wrote. Then your name, then your institutional affiliation, and I wrote Borough of Manhattan Community College, City University of New York. You just don't want to write BMCC because some people don't know what BMCC is, right? So, like, nationally, people are not familiar with BMCC. They're more familiar with Borough of Manhattan Community College, and then if you put City University of New York, then they kind of understand more what's going on because we just call it BMCC. Everybody else is like, what's BMCC? So that's why I wrote it out. Now the running head, let's go back to the header. The first few words of your title, full title, and make sure it's in all caps. So that's what I'm doing right here. I'm just going to write behavioral correlates. Make sure it's all in capitals. So the running head looks like this with lowercase h, colon, and then all capitals the first couple words of your full title. Now this running head only appears on the title page. the words running head only appear on the title page. Every other page in the top left header, you're going to have this short title, Behavioral Correlates. So this title page, this first page, is going to be different than everything else because this is the only page with running head. Every other page will have behavioral correlates. So the next page here, page 2, will have behavioral correlates in the top left and will not have the words running head. And then the right hand margin, you're going to have the page number, including page 1. Now your first page is different than your other pages because the word's running head. So there's a way through Microsoft Word or through your word processing program to make the first page different than the rest of the pages. There's that option. So first page running head, the rest of the page is just behavioral correlates without the words running head. Okay? So that's easy for the title page. Now the abstract, I'm obviously not going to write an abstract for you here. The abstract's going to be a lot harder to write. It's actually the hardest part to write, maybe of the whole paper, but specifically of this part of the paper, of this assignment in general. So abstract should be written after you finish writing the whole paper, basically, except for the references. It should be between 150 to 200 words, and you're going to write the word abstract at the top and center it. So the top of the page, you're going to write abstract and then center it. And the format should be, 2 sentences about what the purpose of the study is, 1 or 2 sentences on the methodology, 1 or 2 sentences for the results, and 1 or 2 sentences for the conclusion of the study. And I gave you a sample abstract to look at here. So basically, you're going to say why are we doing this study? Why is it important? And then the methodology, we'll talk about how it was a survey that was completed and what it measured. And then 1 or 2 sentences about the results. Focus on the significant findings. So we supported 2 of the hypotheses. You want to make sure that you mention those 2 significant findings here in the abstract. And then 1 or 2 sentences for the conclusion of the study. What's the take-home point about the study? And I gave you a sample here to look through. Obviously, this is a little difficult to write, but what you need to do is take a little bit from each of the 4 sections. So you've written the introduction, so you should have something for the first 2 sentences here. You've written the methodology, so you should have something for the 1 or 2 sentences for this part. You've written the discussion, and you saw my results. So you don't need to put statistics in here. You just need to give me, basically what were the significant results. And then what do those significant results mean? And that's part of the summary. So what did we come away with from the study? And that will be about 120 words, which is, 1 large paragraph. So that's the abstract. And finally, the last part is the references. And since we're dealing mainly with articles, we're going to be focusing not on books, but focusing on articles. Now, there's one easy way to do this, shortcut way. I'm going to show you how to do shortcut way right now. So let's go into Google Scholar and find an article, right? So let's say attachment style and COVID-19. All right, put vaccination in there. Approach to COVID-19 vaccine hesitancy. So there's an article that I could possibly use. I'm not sure if you use this one. If I click on it, I get the abstract. So here's the abstract, right? And this is what they found. And if I think this was relevant and I use this article, so whatever article you used already with your introduction, and you should have had stuff for the discussion or your citing. And you're citing mainly off of journal articles, right? So we need to provide provide the full reference entry for each article. So let's say you use this article somehow and you wanted to cite it. in the reference section, not like in text citation, but for a reference entry. All you have to do is see this little thing that says cite, click on that, find APA, copy it. Obviously, you're going to have, this is going to be at the end of the paper, so references is last. So I'm not going to cycle through the whole thing, but I'm going to put a separate page, but your references should be last. You should just type references, center it, right? And then you're just going to paste in your article that you used. Now, there's a few things that have to be changed here. The second and subsequent line should be indented. So I'm going to indent these. So I'm going to copy this or cut this, and then I'm going to indent like that and paste it. And then do the same thing here for the third line. Okay, so I was a little bit sloppy here because there's a fourth line. So let me move over to fourth line, and there we go. I might see if I can sneak survey up here. No, I can't. I can't fit it on that line. So now, so here you see the author, authors, right? First author, second author, third author. The year, the title of the article in normal font. And then this is the journal in italics. And if you have page numbers will be after this 36.1. This is the volume, this is the issue. If you had page numbers, you put comma, page numbers, and then period. Right, whatever page numbers they are. So all I did was copy and paste. Let me do another one. Let's do empathy and COVID. Vaccination. Okay, so here's an article, COVID-19 vaccine donations, vaccine empathy, or vaccine. So let's say I use this article, and I need to then find the reference entry. So click on Cite, find APA, copy it, go in here, and paste it. And then, of course, I have to format it correctly. Second and subsequent line should be indented. So then indent. Get the article to indent. And there we go. Now, when you're done pasting all of your articles, all your reference entries, you want to make sure that they're in alphabetical order by author last name. So G is before S, so that's in the right order. But you got to make sure that everything's in order. All your reference entries are in order by author last name. This is in the journal Vaccines. Here's a page number 1024. Here you don't have a page number because I think this is online. So if it's online, you probably don't have a page number. But if it's in print, a lot of journals are in print and online, you're going to have a page number. And that's it. And it's simple to make the references. So the hardest part here is the abstract. And that's going to require a little bit of just compressing things into a nice little paragraph that's not too long, not too short. But if you follow the format that I gave you, 1 or 2 sentences for the introduction, 1 or 2 sentences for the methodology, 1 or 2 sentences for the results, and 1 or 2 sentences for the conclusion, you should have your good 120 word abstract in one solid paragraph. And obviously the abstract is about the study that we did as a class, which is the survey that everything so far has been about. Some students have submitted methods on articles that they read, which I don't understand how that happened, but it's happened. Make sure that you're submitting material, the assignment based on what we did in class, which was the survey. We did it online, obviously, not in class, but that's the survey that we've been focusing on this whole semester. So the abstract should be based on, the results, the discussion that you've written already. So if you've done all the parts of the manuscript, then the abstract is just putting it together in a way that just sounds good and communicates effectively the main, takeaway of the research. Remember that the abstract is the first thing people look at before they decide to read the article. So if your abstract is good, people are going to read your article, which is good. Because the more people that read your article, the more people that will cite your article. And obviously, the more people that cite your article, the better it is for your reputation as a researcher. So that abstract is the first thing people see. You want to make sure that it's clear, concise, and really communicates the importance and the results, the important results of your study, and makes them want to read your study. Because we skim through abstracts really fast when we're looking for research, because there's so many articles. Once you find that abstract that really hits at what you want, this is really what I'm interested in, then you start looking at the article. And then if you look at the article, you cite the article. And that's obviously good for an author to be cited. So the abstract's important. It's a little tricky to write. I don't expect perfection, but I expect an effort. I mean, that's really kind of what I expect all the time is effort. I'm not looking for like perfect papers. I'm looking for you put the effort in. Like you didn't write this at 11:50 p.m. 10 minutes before it's due. That you put the effort in, and then if there's something wrong with the effort or there's something wrong with what you've done, I will write comments, and you will learn from those mistakes. And that's how we all learn. I mean, when I submit an article for review, 3 people review it, and they write comments of things they don't like and things I need to fix, and then I have to fix those things, or I have to justify why I'm not fixing them to the editor. So most of the time, it's just easier to fix what they're telling you to fix. So we're all going through this submission, feedback, revision. That's the whole process of publishing in general. Is you write, you submit, you get feedback, you make changes, and then you resubmit. And that's what you're doing here in this class: writing, getting feedback from me, making changes, and resubmitting. So you're learning the process of what actually manuscript writing is about. Except that it's, there's a little bit more detail and there's a little bit more finesse and style that obviously you're not getting in this class. This is just an introduction to research, but you're really, getting an introduction to how to write things and what the process is about. So hopefully this clears everything up. This should not be a very difficult assignment, just the abstract. It's going to take you a little bit of time. The references and the title page are pretty easy to do if you're following what I'm telling you here. If you have any questions, let me know, and hopefully I can submit it. And once you submit this assignment, that'll be it for the writing, and then it's just the revision. So make sure you're going into my feedback, seeing my feedback, and then addressing it when you do the rewrite. And then I'll have a link where you can submit the rewrite during the final exam week. And then I will grade your final papers, the revised papers, the rewrites, and your original papers. Also, if you haven't been submitting all your assignments, I do take late assignments, but I'm not going to be taking late assignments all semester. So what students generally do is they wait till, I don't know when, usually the end of the course, and they try to write everything, including the rough drafts. I will not take the rough drafts after the first week of December. So I need to have rough drafts, even on overdue stuff, as soon as possible. So if you haven't submitted everything, now's a good time to submit it, because you can't submit it all at the end of the semester. If you submit the rough drafts at the end of the semester, I will not grade them. I will only grade your final paper, because obviously, if you submit these at the end of the semester, I can't get you feedback and have you revise. The whole point of the rough draft is to get you feedback. And if you don't do the rough draft, it's going to hurt your grade. So I know that some of you have submitted, and I thank you for that. Some of you have not submitted everything, and I'm telling you, please get these things submitted as soon as possible. So if you have any questions, let me know. If not, enjoy your holiday, and I'll see you online shortly, or at some point. Bye for now.